Well, welcome to another sketch sesh. Tech Packs Are Due, brought to you by Tech Packs Are Due, the unofficial official podcast of Footwear Design. Today, we are going to be doing something that I like to do from time to time. Just a straight up draw over of a Air Max 1. You got it?
Fun fact,
See it?
my favorite shoe of all time.
All time. I was going to say probably my favorite Nike.
I've got one right here. Look at that.
Oh,
Boom.
gosh.
I've got actually, you know what would be funny? As you're sketching over this, I'm gonna break out my collection of Air Max 1s. We're gonna show them off.
Okay.
All right, give me a sec.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to just kind of rough in kind of what just kind of rough in the lines.
Oh, there's way too many.
Colin's thinking anyone wants to see his dirty Air Max ones. Oh man. But essentially what I'm trying to accomplish is like what is the shoe doing? Oh my gosh. This is
Oh. I hope all the listeners saw that.
well, we all saw it and we all heard it.
This is just a few of them, actually. I thought it would
so
be
I know it's like
apropos.
it's kind of like tracing, but legitimately what I'm trying to do is get it roughed out, because what I was taught was like you want to build your shoe as it's like actually built. So
Oh,
for
do you
example,
go bottom up?
yeah, well, I mean like when it comes to doing the layering and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like of the textile and like the leather and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna want to build like first you're gonna want to build the top leather, or you could build like the upper total. Then each piece gets its own little layer. So then you can like go through and like render, and then if you want to change the color, you can go back and do like
Got it.
coloring, and you
In
can
each
do
Procreate layer.
yep.
Got it. Very cool.
So kind of what I got right now. Show Colin real quick.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay.
I've just done a
Very nice.
little outlining.
And you're
Oh,
doing the big bubble. You're doing the big bubble one right now.
Yeah, big bubble is the way to go. If I were to do it, if I were to buy one,
I've got two big bubbles. I got the blue. Have to.
Colin likes shoes way more than I like shoes.
I gotta say, this is very apropos. This is the schematic Air Max 1. It's the tech pack of the Air Max 1. You can see, look.
Very thematic.
15 millimeters.
I remember that one.
Sweet. I bought this for myself as a graduation present because at the time I was a developer making tech packs, and this is my favorite shoe of all time. So it's a tech pack of my favorite shoe.
Nice. All right, so I think that's pretty good. And so what I would do next is start doing the different layers. Oh man, you know what? Actually, the next thing I would do is put up a layer here, and because I want this shoe, I think this is going to be like a pretty legit render. So what I would do is I'll take like a dark gray, and because I want this shoe to like pop off the page, I'm going to just like give a background. Because you want the midsole to like kind of pop.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. You can kind of see where it's going. Colin, for you.
Okay, very cool.
So yeah, you like
Kind of a base color.
you do a little background. I might turn it off just to get the rest of it going. But I think this is like helpful. Like, and when I do stuff like this, um, it's usually because I'm trying to understand, or like it's just also kind of nice to take something that's already done and you can just build. So I'm gonna go through. This is gonna be the textile. Laces will come in at the end. Don't trip.
I will say I've always liked the way that you do laces. I've tried to mimic it a few times.
Really?
Yeah. Like there's one sketch that was on your portfolio way back when. Maybe it was the Levitate, where you just have like these really nice like it's almost like the pressure setting on the pen was really dialed in and you had like a kind of a flat brush and you kind of just like flicked it.
Oh
Like
yeah.
kind of flicked it and it like just it totally looked like laces because if you were on a full orthographic graphic view of a shoe, right? That's all you would see is just like a little
Right.
flick. And you mentioned that
That's
in your
interesting.
sketch sesh with John.
All right. Let's get that red. I don't know what kind of red.
So like a cross between a fire truck red and a cherry red.
Yeah, I gotcha.
University red is what they call it.
It's not varsity. Varsity is
Oh, it might
like
be
the
blue.
Jordan,
Yeah, varsity red is the.
the bread.
Hmm.
All
The
right.
big bubble actually has like a wider toe box too. It's kind of pretty comfy.
I'm kind of being a little sloppy. One of the sketch sessions is going to be me cleaning up my John,
I
my John render.
think your John render looks really good. I don't know what you're talking about. It makes me feel bad about my abilities. When you say like that was bad, I was like, oh man, that looked really good.
Yeah.
But that's why you're the expert. That's why you're the expert.
that's why
That's why they pay you
that's
the
why
big bucks.
that's why Colin's over there. No, I don't know. All right. Let's
One
see
day
what
I
we got.
won't be.
Yeah.
I swear.
Yeah, it's true. All right, let's see what we got. All right. Looking nice. I need to see what are the colors of this shoe again? It's like white.
Yeah, there's the underlay is white, and then it's kind of
Come
like
on.
this bone color for the quarter.
No, I gotcha.
It's like a gray bonish color.
All right,
Uh,
so what I need to do
and
is I
then
need to
red.
lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty light. I don't know if you want a reference here. I'll show you. It's very light gray,
Yeah.
but it's almost like a bone gray.
I'm going to take
No colored
this one.
bubble.
I'm going to brighten that a little bit. And then I'll do my little bone colors on the other pieces. Now technically the these bone colors, it's probably not just a true gray.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm doing because that's what we got time for.
understood.
Let's see. Again, this whole panel is an actual panel, so and yeah, I said earlier I would do different colors for each panel, but I don't want to take too long here to show you this. Okay. Looking all right. Looking all right. And now we gotta do this. We gotta do the midsole. And I'm gonna do that in like a nice lighter color. All right. And we'll do the bubble. Don't worry about the bubble.
The big bubble has three circles, I think. Four circles.
Oh man. If you
Mine
think
is a
I'm getting
size
into that
13.
much detail, you
Mine is a
are
size 13. So
mistaken.
size 13 has 5 circles.
in the bubble window.
Yeah, like which are those are pillars filled with foam.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, cause so how they make the bubbles is those sections are actually they're welds that go through both sides of the bag
Yep.
that stabilize it basically from being just like a big giant bubble, and then obviously they injection mold around it so the foam fills in the voids because the bag kind of forms around. That's what makes those circles on the inside.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'll go ahead and add the laces. Let me go in here, do that. And then we will get rid of the background. All right, so I've missed a couple things, and we'll throw in the laces. Um, Pretty simple. So what I like to do with like most things, we'll get into this too, is like when I do a sketch, anything that the light touches, I like to like keep. Oh man, that goes all the way up and over. Whoops. Um, if it's the thing that touches the light, I like to keep it a lighter stroke.
Oh, okay.
And if it's going into a shadow, that's when I like to do a heavier.
Okay.
Um, so like that one's in a shadow, so it's gonna get a heavier
It's just
thing.
altering your line weight to also match the angle of light.
Yeah, right.
What's your usual go to for like where the light, like do you usually put the light coming from the top right?
Yeah. Well, no, top left for me. If I'm doing it, just depends which shoe I'm doing.
Yeah.
If it's the left shoe, it's top left. If it's right shoe, I don't think about this very often. Um, and then I'm gonna do one more thing. Gotta get that top eyelet circle donut
Yep.
Taurus,
Light eyelet
whatever
reinforcer thing.
whatever that is.
It's like a little figure eight.
Yeah, with like square
It has
cutouts,
square holes, yeah.
which to me is like, why, why?
Hey, Tinker Hatfield holds the pen, man.
That's right. Shout out Tinker. You'll never watch this.
Honestly, I think it has to do it was I think this is the same eyelet piece from another shoe.
All right, we just need to put a little fire engine red up there. This one I will do to match the what I'm saying. You make it the color of its piece, and
Did
then
you
on
make
its
any
own layer.
alterations?
No.
Okay.
Uh,
So you're just rendering
far be it from me to alter a
perfect shoe.
shoe that's honestly like I think of all Nike shoes, this is it.
It's the best. Honestly, it's such a great shoe.
Like all the Jordans are fine. All of the like I mean you got Jordan 4 is pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Um Jordan 1 also. And then I really love 11 and 12. That's like peak Jordan.
I feel like the
The 10 is my favorite of all time, but no one
really.
goes there. Yeah.
Hey, that's cool. I like that.
Because he was going back to the league and
Yeah, they made it into
the
some
bottom was
baseball cleats for
striped.
him. Yeah. Talk about no
Um,
grip though. Talk about no grip. We're talking. You said no grip on a herringbone pattern. You're like stripes, no grip.
yeah, that's got no grip. They all had no
Um,
grip back then.
that's true. Um, I was gonna say I feel like the Air Jordan 11 and the Air Max 1 have a lot of design similarities to me.
Yeah.
So,
Uncut. This is where we're at.
okay.
I'm going to go and get rid of all this stuff.
I'm gonna have a lot of
I can
fun
leave
watching
some
the
of
back.
it to like flare out like with the airbrush, but over the top of the shoe, boom. All right, I'm gonna show us the Colin. This is where we are.
Shee, look at that, man.
It's just now how we judge this is, to me, is we take off, we slowly dim out the black lines,
Mm.
um, and that's how you know where you are. So as you'll see it on the camera, that's my outlines for all these shapes. A good designer once told me, like, look, there is no, there are no black lines on a shoe.
Yeah.
Like it's all shadows and highlights, right? So what I like to do when I'm rendering something is I take the black lines out, and then you can see the patterning, but you can also see how rough my shapes are.
Yeah, I feel like you were
Yeah,
the
let me.
first person to ever tell me that, and I did it once on a sketch. Yeah, and you could just like, because you always like draw underneath your initial line work, right? To
Yep,
fill in the color, and then once you like start to fade your black lines out, depending on how big your brush was, and at that time I was using really big brushes
yep,
because my hand isn't as stable, and when I started doing that, like I started fading it out. I'm like, oh man, like
yeah.
jagged shapes everywhere, and then you have to go in and clean them up.
Well, that is what we're gonna do. So now, like that, it is how it is. Legitimately, all I'm gonna do is just start to add like highlights and shadows. And quickly, like you'll see that this shoe will turn into like a shoe that looks like a shoe. Um, because like before, it was like, and I could have started this way. I think like sometimes I'll just go straight to building shapes. But now I'm like loosely, I'm not going to like reference the. I am not going to reference the. Actually, let's put this one down here. I'm not going to reference the image anymore. Like I don't have to,
Mm.
which is fun because now I am going in and just gonna like make it. I think what everyone wants, right? Like not a tracing. Like I think everyone's like, "Wait, Jake, like why are you tracing a shoe? Like, what's the point of that?" And you're
Mm-hmm.
right. Like, but I think if you're wanting to build like how you look at shoes, how you render shoes, I think you start by looking at things that already exist. and and that's how you get better and better
Mm-hmm.
at building what you see. So now I think this is like pretty good to where I would start to say, okay, like I need highlights. I would just build a highlight layer and a shadow layer. Then probably do a bubble. It's probably time to do bubble.
Do a little hit a little highlight on the bubble window.
Yeah, what I'll do is a little airbrush. Literally all I'm doing is airbrush and ink as well. Like I'm not grabbing like random brushes all over the place. It's just airbrush and a solid eraser, and I mean that's it. Like I'm not, there's no need to, I mean I think there is we saw it on John's episode.
Mm-hmm.
We used like some brush packs, which
Yeah,
is cool.
shout out to that one dude who um made all the footwear brush packs that we use.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he made some awesome brush packs for footwear for
Some
Procreate.
guy out there, bless his heart and soul, made material brush pack for
Specifically for
designers.
footwear. Yeah.
Yeah, exclusively, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, there's probably apparel uses for it.
Yeah.
Um, but this one is the one.
Let me see if I can find it so we can shout him out.
Um, and again, I'm just going through now and I'm cutting out the midsole so we have a bubble. And then,
Shoe
all right,
designer with a Z.
what's
Shout out
up?
to Shoe designer with a Z
Nice.
created the best Procreate footwear material brushes.
All right, so I'm starting on my highlight layer, highlight shadow. Um, I will come in and take a tint
Mm-hmm.
of the red that we were using and like start to kind of wash over the edge. You want to use like the same colors that you built the shoe with. And sorry, I'm like trying to do this over a microphone. It's not as clean as I would.
Explain your take on. You mentioned before, like, oh, why are you tracing a shoe? But I remember on Doug's podcast, we were talking, like, he kind of mentioned, like, oh, everybody's tracing something, to start, like, maybe to get initial proportions or to get, like, initial whatever. What's your
Yeah.
take on that? Like, is that something you do? Is that something you see personally in the industry? Because, like, I think
No,
what I've
man. That
heard
ain't
from
real.
it is what I've heard is like whatever you use, like whatever tools you need to make whatever it is you're making. It's like nothing is a cheat, nothing is a hack if you're communicating your idea, like do whatever you need to do to make it faster.
Yeah, right.
So what's your
Um,
take on that?
my take is, yeah, it's like whatever you got to do. Because if your proportions aren't right, if you're doing a 3/4 and it doesn't look right, if you're doing anything
Mm-hmm.
and it's not spot on,
Mm-hmm.
like you're judged for that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it sucks, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
And so like everything needs to look pristine. Um, and so all this time I'm taking to like build this right now is comes and pays dividends in the end. Like this line that I'm doing right now, there's like a little shadow that happens right at the bite of the upper and the
Mm-hmm.
midsole. And putting that in makes all the difference. It's on every shoe.
Yep.
There's a little fold that goes under the midsole right at the bite line or of the upper.
For
And if
those
you
of you
have
at
that on
home who
there,
don't know, a bite line is where the upper meets the midsole tooling.
yeah. Colin, hit him. Hit
Hit
him with the
him.
definition,
Hit him with
Colin.
it. There it is. And then what did they
Uh,
call that in industrial design? It's not the occlusion, it's the usually your for a line like that, your
yeah,
lightest highlight and your darkest shadow are right next to each other to create that dimensional line
yeah.
right there.
Again, Colin already knows more than I do,
No,
but
I don't got the chops.
but I'm trying to do this pretty fast. So yeah, I mean, so already it's like, one of the same. And then I would come in here and just start to like, again, if this is a presentation sketch, like think about the audience and what you want to portray. Like if you want them to know that the iRo is like undulating like that, like this is the time where you hit a hard line on there to show that like that's what's happening back there. Details like that, it's a must to show off stuff like that. All right, so now I've got almost everything like shadowed up the way I'd want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry about the outsole. We may or may not get to that. Again, you want to shadow the bubble because right there's a little hang. That EVA or PU, I don't know what the heck that port is. It PU or is it EVA?
At
The
this time, it
midsole.
was polyurethane
That's what I thought.
because they have to injection mold it.
So show Colin. So you're starting to crisp it up.
What did Viscom make that? What?
Yeah.
It looks great.
We love Viscom,
We
but
love Viscom.
you got to be able to do this by yourself. And again, like because I'm doing the dark background, I do not need to like put a line there. Like again, in real life, there are no black lines. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that in sketch session. There are no black lines. Do not draw them.
We'll make a T-shirt that says it.
So
And what's
then
funny?
I got my shadows. I'm going to put in highlights. What were you saying, Colin?
No, I was gonna say we'll make a T-shirt that says there are no black lines in
Yep.
shoes, and then on the back, it'll be the TPD logo, which is all lines, all black lines.
TPD logo is a masterpiece.
It is.
And
I wonder who designed that.
it's hilarious.
I love it, dude. It's amazing.
Just that it's a knock on calling my designs busy. It's the best. All right, that's not the best highlight I've ever done, but you kind of getting the point here. This is catching light, this edge. It's also shadowing because it's stitched on. I'm not doing the stitching, but it's catching light because there's depth to the material. It's also pulling shadow because there is it is stitched down. It is taking light away. It is casting a shadow. It's like that's catching light there. All right, and then my other favorite like kind of tidbit here is we have kind of a flat midsole. I would add right on the top here. I would add a highlight right on the top line of the tooling. Because in reality there is a radius at the top of this tool. And then when we get this, we're going to move on to like what I consider the final touch. So yeah, at the top of this, just a little bit of that. Boom. So we're looking pretty good. Looking pretty nice. There's a whole unfinished bottom, but I said I would get to that. Maybe now's the time. I don't like to take a lot of time on lateral views on bottoms. Just not my thing. You're trying to communicate a lot. Sidewall, geometry. You're trying to communicate overall look. I just don't think when you're doing something like this that doing like a super detailed like rubber template makes a lot of sense.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, because on the Air Max 1, there is a bit of detail there on the rubber that wraps up on the lateral side.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot of little lines and stuff.
My opinion here is that, and then when I do shadow lines like this, I always like to cut away the edge because shadows die. They don't keep going. I like to kind of like make a line and then just kind of slowly fade it away. Just like a shadow would actually do. Now, if I take away the tracing, it should be pretty nice. Oop. Oh my. Okay, not bad. Could have looked a lot worse, but it looks pretty good for what it is.
There you go.
Yeah, so come around here. There's also a little bit of light that's taken away on the rubber where the rubber meets the tooling. So there is a shadow line in there. I remember saying there's no black lines, but that might be a place where we fudge that a little bit. But Colin is a hero for hanging on
I'm over here taking notes, man.
Um, nice. So come in here, gonna give that a little love. We're gonna go around and we're gonna take away some stuff. That black layer is no more needed. Um, and let's see. That one. We can come in here and we can cut that away. And then with little effort, we have an Air Max 1.
Yo, very nice, man.
Not bad, not bad. Um, and then I think for me, like, this is good. This is good enough. I mean, there's some choppy points. But for me, what makes magical shoe sketches is this final touch.
Oh,
On the last, and Colin can help me out with terminology because it's late and I'm trying to think. There's like a feather line where you start to have the shadowing under there, and there's a highlight on top.
Yeah,
That's present on every shoe. So right now, like this looks kind of
see it
flat.
right here.
But if I come in here with this little line, ooh, that's a little too big. There we go. And I start to add this line in. And then I hit multiply on that. Then the sketch starts to gain dimension, which is something that we were missing. I do the same thing with a little bit of white here. Come over the top, hit it a little bit. And before long, let's see what we got. Yeah. Let's get rid of that little blobby edge here. Oh boy. We got some, there we go. And I think this would have come out a little bit more. Oh boy. Man, hard to keep this straight, but just using an ink pen. Yeah, that's nice. Fun shoe to sketch. Super simple. But you just add that, and then I would say I would come in here and then shout out the materials guy. Come in here to one of his materials.
Shoe designer with a Z.
Shoe designer.
Designer.
Whoever that is deserves everything. We can do this. Come in, make that mesh an actual mesh. It's okay to bleed over. Like, I feel like that's a magical thing about sketches.
It comes up to your like style.
But like, you don't have to be 100%.
I like that.
Like,
Yeah, like when you're talking about like you're communicating a lot on a lateral side, you don't have to do all the details on the rubber. Like
yeah,
do a bottom view. Do a bottom view if you're gonna do that.
yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Let me see. Where's my highlight shadow thing? There we go. And again, I'm not the end all be all of forward sketching, but I like to think I know a thing or two.
You've been doing it for a while.
Surely for a little quick tutorial, this is the real deal. All right, so I didn't do a tongue. Obviously let that go, but I would do the same thing here. I'll add a little shaping to it. And then what I would do though on a tongue is I would take that little airbrush and add a little to the, take a little bit of this and just add a little love in there to make it, to show that it's tucked under.
Mm.
Oh man, on my, oh people. I didn't do the figure eight at all. Just left him. Let's do the figure eight real fast. I would just do it on its own. Man. You also zoom in, you find things that you don't want to find. All right. Take us to school. Final touches here. Little figure eight. Make him how you want him. Hit him with a highlight. It's not perfect. It's not bad. Find a little bit right there. There we go. He's looking good. And then I would come in and give him a dark red. Wait. And then make that square. Because it's square.
Do you always go multiply to blend your highlight and shadow, or do you? I know some people do the opacity thing.
It depends. Right now I did a multiply.
Mm.
Just because I want to be able to have it change regardless of color.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Like,
Right.
So if I change the bottom, oh yeah, one more highlight, and then I think we're done.
Nice.
Because I want to, like, if I change the bottom to purple or something, I wanted the gray to just render the purple, like, and I don't want to have to fuss, like, did I get the opacity right? I just want it to be done and done. I just want to draw it.
Right. You
Oh
mentioned
man,
doing.
there's one more shadow. Oh man, you could do this all night.
You mentioned grabbing a tint of a certain color and a shade of another color. Are you mostly doing your shadows and highlights like that, or are you like? Because I know like Michael DiTullo, when he does his rendering style, he does like base color, and then he just does like a pure black airbrush and a pure white airbrush, and like messes with the opacity for the rendering. Yeah.
Hmm.
What is your take? What do you usually like to do? Do you mix and match? Do you do some that's pure black, some that's pure white, or do you like to mix?
Wait, so he's saying does what?
So the way that I've seen Michael DiTullo do his rendering style most of the times is that he does like a flat sketch with the flat color like you did, and then he adds his rendering layers and he does a pure black like pass over with to get the shadows in, and he does the shadows just with black, and then he messes with the opacity to make it kind of like blend, and then he does a pure white with airbrush or whatever for the highlights, and then blends with opacity.
I just don't like to mess with the opacity. Like I just don't. I feel like I've learned that I just don't have time. Like I'm trying to crank it out. I just don't have a lot of time to.
You just click multiply and it's there.
Yeah, it's like all right, multiply, go. Like
nice.
And it probably doesn't take that long. All right, there you go.
Wait, let's see.
Whoops,
side by side.
Thumbs up.
Side by side. That looks the exact same.
Oh man! Wow.
So what's your take on putting like stitch lines in and stuff too?
Yeah, like I probably would.
Hmm.
Especially right now. I don't want to do it, but I would come in and it's stuff that like you stick on the top. Like,
Yeah, right on the very top layer.
yeah, and there's stitch. There's stitch
Yeah, I was gonna
things.
say,
I'm
does
not
there
gonna
does someone make a good stitch
I'm not gonna try to find
brush?
it,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure there are. But I mean, if you don't and you just want to put them on an Illustrator, like you could just do that.
Yeah, smart.
Um, but literally, like this is pretty simple stuff. Like,
Looks good, man.
um, and I didn't do everything. Like I didn't highlight the swoosh, which would be simple. But I'm using a ton of layers.
Yeah.
But you come through here and you can like put a highlight on the swoosh. And then I think I would like probably put a little take the airbrush and kind of just take it off a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's good.
Yeah, dude. Good work. I'm gonna watch
Thanks,
that back.
man.
I'm gonna finally be able to see it.
Yeah, there you go.
Make sure you're recording.
Um, bada bing, bada boom. That's Sketch Sesh. Pretty simple. Hope it's like usable stuff that people
Yeah.
do. Um,
I know I'm gonna go
anyway,
in there and I'm gonna learn all these new techniques. I'm gonna become so
yeah,
much better.
yeah. Check us out. Tech packs are due. We are talking about shoes. We always have guests on. We talk about footwear, the experience of being a footwear designer, a lot of bit about how people get into footwear, and yeah, it's a good time. Sketchfest is a part of Tech Packs Are Due, where we are going to try to showcase what it actually is like to be um, a footwear designer and what footwear designers actually do, how we actually sketch, how we see product, how we see stuff like this when we're rendering. Um, there you have it. This is a very like I feel like this is rudimentary stuff, but it takes a long time to like get a stroke down, get ideas down, get concepts down, and then get it in a way that it's usable. So I hope this is helpful. But yeah, check us out. Tech packs are due. I am Jake.
I'm
That is
Colin.
Colin. Thanks for being with us on this lengthy episode. All right. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.